beneath Vatican City, there's one of the most mysterious and legendary places in the entire world. It's a place that has fueled, countless conspiracies, books, and movies. So today, let's separate the wild fiction from the, well, even wilder truth of the Vatican archives. So what is actually in there, right? Is it proof of aliens? Some kind of forbidden ancient knowledge? For centuries, that question has totally captured the public imagination. And today, we're going to peel back some of those layers. Okay, just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, picture this. If you were to take all of the shelves in the archive and lay them end to end, they would stretch for 53 miles. That is just a mind-boggling amount of history, all tucked away in the sprawling maze right next to St. Peter's Basilica. Now, for most of its history, the official name of this place was the Vatican Secret Archive. And, let's be honest, when you call something a secret archive, you're pretty much guaranteeing that a few rumors are going to start flying around. So, in what was seen as a move towards more transparency, Pope Francis officially changed the name back in 2019. The whole idea was to show that, hey, the church isn't hiding anything sinister. But, as you're about to see, a simple name change doesn't just erase centuries of mystery. All right, let's get to the fun stuff, the myths. Online forums are buzzing with claims of alien skulls and gospels that were banned from the Bible. But you know what's funny? One of the most bizarre stories actually comes from inside the church itself. Everybody, meet the Chrono visor. The story goes that a Benedictine monk, who was also a physicist, a guy named Father Pellegrino Renetti, claimed he had built a device that was basically a time-traveling TV. He said it let him witness huge events from ancient history, like the crucifixion of Christ. And as proof, Father Ernetti actually produced what he claimed was a photograph of Jesus taken with his machine. But, yeah, there's a little problem. The photo looks almost identical to a super popular Christian postcard that was going around at the time. So the evidence, it just doesn't really hold up. But even with all the skepticism, Ernetti stuck to his story right up until he died. He insisted that the Vatican had seized his invention and locked it away to keep it safe. It's a fantastic story for sure, but it definitely belongs more to science fiction than reality. So if you can't go in there and find a time machine, what can you find? Well, the archives have technically been open to researchers for over 100 years, but that word open, it comes with some very, very big conditions. You can't just walk in, okay? You need some serious credentials. We're talking a master's degree, a really strong letter of recommendation, and this part is crucial, you have to know the exact document you want to see before you even apply. It's an incredibly exclusive club. Okay, so let's just pretend we made it inside. We passed the interview, we're in. Forget all the myths about booby traps and whatnot. The reality is so much more compelling. We would be surrounded by documents holding secrets that literally reshaped the world. Let's start with one of the most famous and powerful military orders of the Middle Ages, the Knights Templar. They were accused of heresy by the King of France, they were arrested, and their leader was burned at the stake. And for 700 years, that was pretty much the story everyone accepted. Then, in 2001, a researcher found something that changed everything. That document was the Chinon Parchment. And what it revealed was that Pope Clement V had actually done his own secret investigation and found the Templars innocent. He forgave them in secret, but he was basically strong-armed by the super-powerful King of France, who, by the way, owed the Templars a fortune to let the public persecution go on. A 700-year-old injustice solved by a single piece of parchment. It's incredible. Next up, one of history's most famous showdowns between science and religion. The archive holds the original court records from the 1633 trial of Galileo. On one side, you had the Church's doctrine of geocentrism, that the Earth is the center of the universe. And on the other, you had Galileo's heliocentric model, saying the Earth revolves around the sun. He was put on trial for heresy because of his science. And this is just amazing. You can read Galileo's own defense in his own handwriting. In it, he's pleading his case, desperately trying to argue that his scientific findings didn't undermine his faith. But, as we know, he was forced to recant and spent the rest of his life under house arrest. These pages preserve the raw, human drama of that very moment. Okay, before we get to our next item, it's really important to know what a papal bull is. It's not an animal, obviously. It's a formal public decree from the Pope, and it is one of the most powerful documents in the entire Catholic Church. And here it is, the actual papal bull that excommunicated Martin Luther in 1521. This single piece of parchment marks the official break between Catholicism and Protestantism. It is the document that triggered the Reformation and permanently changed the course of Western civilization. Luther famously burned the copy they sent him, but the Vatican's original, it's still there.
And the treasures just keep coming. You've got King Henry VIII's formal request to have his marriage annulled, and it's adorned with 81 different noble seals. There's a letter from Michelangelo complaining that his workers hadn't been paid. And they even have these wild blueprints for a 17th century flying machine called the Passarola.
So even though the archive is more transparent now than it's ever been, we're still left with this fascinating paradox, sort of a historical catch-22, if you will. Remember those really strict entry rules? You have to request a specific document before you go. But just think about that for a second. How can you possibly ask to see something if you have absolutely no idea that it's even there? What about all the documents that were misfiled centuries ago, or the ones that just have no index? And that's where the real mystery of the Vatican archives lies. It's not really about time machines or alien cover-ups. It's about this vast, unknown ocean of histories sitting on those 53 miles of shelves. Perhaps the greatest secrets aren't the things being hidden, they're the answers to questions we don't even know to ask yet.